Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 career mode for the Canadian Grand Prix. So last time out in Azerbaijan we had a pretty decent time, finishing as the lead Honda powered car, as we do have the better engine, the engine power being the most important part of that track. Handling probably a bit more important in Canada, still a very long straight though, so I'm still looking forward to having some good pace here, hopefully. But you can see their 4th position in Azerbaijan. We managed to out-drag Max Verstappen to the line, and we move on to qualifying, and we go P3 in the first session. Then Nick Fiat in 11th position, but I'm going to up the difficulty as we progress through qualifying, because clearly it is too low. We move on to Q2, and that's a bit more realistic, a bit more representative of our pace. We are down in 7th position, behind the likes of the Ferraris, Racing Points. Actually, we are ahead of Perez. So he clearly did not get the lap together. But anyway, we move on now into Q3, and we'll see what we can achieve in this session. So Canada, I've never really felt particularly comfortable around this circuit. It's always felt a little bit awkward. It's all, the circuit's almost entirely made up of chicanes and then a hairpin at the end. So hopefully we'll be able to get a good handle of it. But you can see a big mistake there. And we massively missed the apex there going into the second sector. But along the next straight into this next chicane, we do cut that a little bit. But honestly, you don't really necessarily save time doing that unless you really throw the car through the corner. But if you just sort of run wide, it gives you a very awkward line on the exit. So there's not really a lot of time to save, at least with the way that I was going through there. But anyway, we move on to the back straight and towards the Wall of Champions chicane now, and we'll see if we can get through here cleanly. A little bit wide of the first apex, cut the second one slightly, and DRS towards the finish line. Where will that put us? That will put us in 6th position at the moment. So we'll go out again and see what we can do. We're down into 7th. And as we cross the line, we couldn't improve, and we're down in 7th position in qualifying. So that is where we will start this race, unfortunately.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
But realistically, that's where the pace of our car is, so let's just get into the race.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history that could be the cause of a safety car today. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Sebastian Vettel and Stroll, the scientist, Ricciardo, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Albon, Leclerc, Lando Norris and Kvyat, Russell, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi, Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
We will certainly try to do that, but it's going to rain probably 10 minutes into the race, so it'll be a very short stint on the soft tyres before we get to that period, but we'll see what happens when we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a good start for Lance Stroll, immediately challenging Sebastian Vettel into the first corner. Gets around the outside, we go to the inside. We're 3 wide there, but we make it around the outside of the 2 of them, and we'll make the move stick on Vettel and Stroll. A bit of contact there, I think, with Sebastian Vettel, but we get away with it, and he will continue to battle away with Lance Stroll, his future teammate at what will be Aston Martin. But we continue on through the rest of the first sector into the second sector. Now we've got a bit of a gap to make up to Sergio Perez up ahead. Lance Stroll does get ahead of Sebastian Vettel off the start. Now he's actually putting a lot of pressure on us as we head into this chicane. Stroll around the outside, and we're actually not going to fight him here, and we're going to let him go. He was actually a bit further back than I thought he was, but I know the other drivers can tend to absolutely send it into that corner. I didn't fancy having a crash on lap 1, so I just thought we would let him go, give it to him this time, and if we've got the pace, we'll chase him down. If we don't have the pace, he would have overtaken us in a couple of corners time anyway. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the race. But you can see he's already taken off into the distance. So I don't think we quite have the pace of the Racing Points. We'll give it our best shot though throughout the rest of this race. But for now, we've survived the first lap, and we have gained a position on Sebastian Vettel. We move on though, and the rain is starting to fall on lap number 6 in this race, and we have actually slightly gained back on Lance Stroll.
Okay, be careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
And yeah, we are slowly sort of inching towards Lance Stroll once again. So it seems that we do have very similar pace to the Racing Points, so we go very deep into that corner again, just like we did in qualifying. But Sebastian Vettel equally is putting a lot of pressure on me, so we can't afford to fluff around too much, otherwise Vettel will be straight onto us. So yeah, we just need to be smooth and consistent, and just try and keep the pace.
Understood, stopping this lap.
But yeah, we have a big loss of the back end there, as we're telling Jeff that we are going to box this lap for the intermediate tyres side by side with Sebastian Vettel, and we just about come out on top there as we gave him the big squeeze on the outside, and now into the hairpin. I was trying to set the intermediate tyres just to make sure we go onto the right compound, but unfortunately I completely got distracted by that, and
confirming that we'll be fitting the intermediate tyres.
yeah, just missed the last corner. But we end up going side by side, maybe just about there with Sebastian Vettel as we head towards the pit lane. I hope Vettel's not coming in as well. I think he might be, and we're just going to try and let him go here. And it was a bit of after you at the pit entry there. We do let Vettel in front of us though, and now it is a battle of the pit crews, Ferrari versus AlphaTauri. What kind of pit stop time can we get? It's a 2.8 second stop, and we jump Sebastian Vettel, and it's a great job by the AlphaTauri crew. Ferrari with a horrendous pit stop, and
we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
And we do come out ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So all the after you at the pit entry was all for nothing in the end. But anyway, we move on, and all the way on.
The radar's showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
To lap 10, and yeah, it's going to stop raining soon. So very short spout of rain in this race. Lance Stroll pits a lap later, Racing Point deciding not to double stack, and I think that will cost him a couple of positions. He is actually no, he will come out ahead of Sebastian Vettel, so just a position to me, but immediately is coming back towards me. So Lance Stroll with some very good pace at his home race. We completely missed that chicane, and Lance Stroll's going to make it around the outside. We might try and fight back though. We will have the outside line for the hairpin. We might be able to get ahead just before that if we can get the braking zone right, and it looks like we'll just about get there. A little bit deep and a bit late on the turn in there, but we will get ahead of Lance Stroll. So we just need to keep this pace up and try and stay ahead of the Canadian, and that should be a decent result secured in this race. I assume we'll all be sort of locked onto the same strategy after the rain goes away, so it will all just be about defending this position. The next car up ahead of me is Valtteri Bottas, and I don't think we'll be challenging him anytime soon. So yeah, we just need to try our best to keep the pace. But another mistake at the hairpin. We keep going too deep into that corner. Stroll goes up the inside on the exit of the hairpin, and we're going to be side by side as we go along the back straight, and we're going to continue to go side by side as we head towards the Wall of Champions. Stroll inches just ahead of us. We're trying to make him defend to the inside, and we'll see if we can get a nice flowing run onto the main straight, but not a great exit there, and we lose the position to Lance Stroll, and we're down into 6th position in this race. So yeah, the top 5 is gone, and that's a bit of contact there with Sebastian Vettel as we ran a little bit wide. Vettel went for the gap, and hopefully he has not damaged his front wing. It's a miracle if he hasn't. He just saw the gap on the right hand side as we came back across, and we squeezed him right into the wall there, but he was able to continue with I think no damage.
This rain should stop sometime in the next few laps. We should see a dry line start to form fairly rapidly, so make sure to cool your tyres down the straights. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
But the rain is stopping very, very soon now as we continue on in this race. Vettel may have lost a little bit of pace, or maybe we just got our act together a little bit there as we make another mistake. So yeah, just a lot of small mistakes creeping in.
Gap to car in front is 4.2 seconds.
In the rain, and yeah, Lance Stroll is now 4 seconds up the road, so we really haven't had the pace in the rain.
Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
But thankfully soon enough it is time to go back to the dry tyres on lap 20 of this race. So the rain was only we're only on the inters for 12-ish laps. I can't remember exactly what lap we came in the first place, but no front wing damage for us. I had to check because we did have a few little battles. We made a bit of contact with Vettel earlier in the race as we were racing towards pit entry the first time, but we move on to pit exit, and we'll see where we re-emerge. We'll be in a little bit of traffic it seems, but hopefully we can clear that soon enough. It is Esteban Ocon in the Renault who is right ahead of us, but we'll see if we can chase him down in this next phase of the race. It's also Lando Norris in the McLaren behind us, and he's actually seeming pretty quick. And as we move on to the back straight, we're not catching Esteban Ocon. He pits from ahead of us, so we may have jumped onto the slick tyres a lap early here because they just weren't as fast as the Inters, to put it simply, on this lap. And yeah, that's hopefully won't cost us, but Sebastian Vettel is ahead of us now. So
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
So yeah, we've lost out in all that.
Daniel is in the pits. Daniel in the pits.
So yeah, messed that one up, but we'll continue on. We'll try to catch up
3.7 seconds
to Sebastian Vettel and see if we can gain back on the Ferrari. But as we continue on, Sergio Perez retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and smoke absolutely pouring out the back of that Mercedes engine, and he will retire from the Canadian Grand Prix. So not good for Sergio Perez, and he will be very disappointed with that. He was having a nice race in this one today, but we let Valtteri Bottas go when there's no point fighting the Mercedes when they're just so much faster at this point. But anyway, we move on, and it is time for our final pit stop. We weren't able to make any progress on Sebastian Vettel. We just couldn't catch him. He was faster at this point in the race. So yeah, we didn't really have anything to do in that stint. But medium tyres for the remainder of this Grand Prix, and we'll see if we can make any progress against the likes of Vettel or Stroll on the medium compound. But as we continue on through this race, we currently sit in 10th position, but that will quickly change to 8th as we pass Albon and Sainz. Ignore that pit window call. That is a bit of a glitchy strategy, something going on there. But yeah, we're in a decent position. There's still more cars left ahead of us to make pit stops, so I think we should be in for a pretty good result as we continue on. We are now starting to put pressure on Charles Leclerc in this race as we overtake Daniel Ricciardo, who
In
makes a
this
stop.
lap. In this lap, push now.
But yeah, we're chasing down Charles Leclerc. I think he has another stop to make as well. So there is still potentially a couple more positions to gain if there's anyone else up ahead of him that still need to make a stop. I think Vettel may have made his final stop. So yeah, he might be the limit that we can get to, as we're almost pushing Charles Leclerc through the middle sector. And that thankfully doesn't cause any damage for us, but we take a very aggressive line through the Wall of Champions chicane, get up alongside Charles Leclerc as we cross the line, and we go up the inside into the first corner. Job done, and now we are up into 6th position. Next up, Valtteri Bottas. He's, I think, made an extra stop in this race compared to the other drivers since the rain went away, as we get past the lapped Williams and Alfa Romeo there, not causing us too many issues, but we had to breathe in to fit between the two of them there. I chose to go to the right of the Alfa Romeo because they do tend to move over to the left along that straight. But anyway, continuing on, we have caught up to Lance Stroll right now. So that actually has come up very suddenly. I wasn't expecting to catch him, but with only a few laps left to go in this race, we have caught up to the Canadian, who's I think struggling on his tyres towards the end of this race.
P6, we have P6. Stroll ahead, less than a second separate you. They're on old mediums. Signs behind. Our gap behind is 14.9 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, gap to leader, 49.1 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 4 laps remaining.
So yeah, 4 laps to go in this race, and we are right on the back of Lance Stroll. Everywhere except for out of that corner, where he is still very, very good at laying the power down out of the right-hander in the middle sector. But through this hairpin and onto the back straight, that is where we are very strong, and we might be able to make a move into the Wall of Champions section. But let's see if we can do it. A nice exit out of the hairpin. We'll see if we can get there, but it looks like a pretty decent gap that he's got from the previous section of track, so it doesn't look like we'll be able to make the move. So we'll see if we can get a nice run through this chicane, chopping it up as much as we dare, and then DRS. But Stroll actually got DRS from the lap car there, so that really sort of ruined the advantage that we were getting. So we've lost that opportunity. We need to try and go for it again. We tried to get a nice sort of switch back through there, as I thought he might be a bit distracted or compromised. But we ended up just costing ourselves a bunch of time. It takes us until the final lap. We try the same thing again, trying to get a straighter run onto this next mini straight, but again, it doesn't really work, and we end up just missing the apex by a country mile. But we are close to Lance Stroll, so we'll see if we can make the move into the Wall of Champions section. That's the only time on this lap that I think we'll be able to do it, and as we move on, we are right behind him at the hairpin. We'll see if we can get a nice run on the exit to try and overtake him towards the Wall of Champions sections. We go to the outside of Lance Stroll. He covers it off though, and we can't quite make the move. We've got the DRS though towards the finish line. We've got momentum. We'll go to the inside, see if we can get him, and they don't quite make it. Lance Stroll
pick up rubber and bring it home.
Just about to holds on there, and I am literally getting flashbacks from F1 2019 when literally the exact same thing happened. And as we head towards the final corner, we're going to have a look to the inside, down the inside of Stroll, into the final corner. Stroll holds on, but we get a good exit. We're going to be side by side, a drag race to the finish line, side by side with Stroll to the line. I have no idea if we got that or not.
That's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So it's Lewis Hamilton who takes the race win for Mercedes. Max Verstappen manages to split the two Mercs in P2, and it's Valtteri Bottas in third.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So that is what is going on there. It's gone. Well, anyway, as I was saying, that is the end of that pretty convincing win for Lewis Hamilton. Bottas, just not with the strategy today. Probably had to double stack a few times, really sort of ruined his race. Oh, that was very tight between myself, Vettel and Stroll there in the opening couple of corners. Thankfully, I think we all got away with no damage because, well, Stroll and Vettel had mega pace, and turns out we didn't beat either of them in this race. But, yeah, didn't really go probably as well as I would have liked. I mean, we certainly could have beat Lance Stroll if we made less mistakes. Sebastian Vettel was probably out of reach, but you know, is what it is. We got lucky anyway with Perez retiring. That was a free position for us. There's the bit of after you into the pit lane, but there's the squeeze for Vettel into the wall there. But yeah, I think we just about got away with that. Honestly, I thought after we made that contact, I had it envisioned in my head that we were just going to dive straight into the right-hand side wall. I thought, you know, we'd sort of swing around on his front left tire and you know, get turned into the wall. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But yeah, that could have been race-ending if we moved across to the right more aggressively. So yeah, very thankful that we were able to save that, and we were able to race on. But yeah, unfortunate day for Danny Kvyat. Probably didn't really get the most out of the car today. Certainly was nowhere near the pace that I had, and yeah, we've been very closely matched, myself and Kvyat so far, but we've just tended to have the upper hand on strategy, I suppose, and occasionally he just doesn't qualify quite as well as what I think the car is capable of, and yeah, just didn't go his way today, unfortunately. There's the finish.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
Well, I guess that's up to you to tell me, but yeah, we've really been able to get the most out of the car in the last couple of races and scored a lot of points.
Do you have any comments about this team?
About Racing Points? I mean, they'll be disappointed, I think, with Perez retiring from the race, but obviously Stroll was able to get a top 5 finish, so they'll be happy with that.
The weather was miserable today, but do you feel this was an advantage for you?
I don't think so. We just didn't really have the consistency in the rain, unfortunately.
You had a bit of contact today. Who was at fault there?
I think I'll take the blame. For that one, Vettel was trying to make the move on the outside. I just didn't see him coming there. I was just trying too hard to maintain control of my own car.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Clear. Alright, so that brings the Canadian Grand Prix weekend to a close. We matched Sebastian Vettel in the rivalry there with 4 to 5 in total, Vettel out-qualifying me. But Acclaim, level 7, so we're getting closer to that level 8, but we still need to get some money before that's actually of any use. But anyway, as for the R&D, after practice, we did go in and had a good look around for what we might purchase on the R&D side. Reliability, I think we've done pretty much enough on that side of things. I'm not too worried about the energy store, even though we haven't got the upgrade there. I think it will. I think it'll be fine. The only sort of upgrade I'm worried about is the control electronics. They seem to be wearing out very, very quickly. The ICE as well, but I think we'll just about get away with it on that front. But in the end, I decided to go for the front downforce to finally get that balanced out. So we'll get that minor front downforce upgrade on the car, and that will come in a few weeks' time. And we'll also go ahead and grab the minor fuel efficiency upgrade on the engine side, and that will help us run lighter cars at the start of races, or just use less lean mix throughout the races. But yeah, as we fast forward through the time then that control electronics durability comes in, and as do some more resource points and an upgrade to the
We've had the new parts
ERS.
in the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
But other than that, there is not too much else left to cover. We're still sort of mid-pack in all the different areas of R&D, so it's kind of a little bit difficult to choose where to invest in next, because there's no clear sort of weakness in the car. We just need improvements all round. I think on our engine side, we're a lot better than Red Bull, so in a way we're kind of just waiting on Honda to bring some upgrades for us, and they will in due course. But yeah, we just need to, I guess, to improve the chassis. I think is probably the most important, because we haven't done anything on the weight redistribution, so we'll probably focus on that next. But other than that, there is not too much else left to cover, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.